Let's see what NgRx effects are, how to install them and how to use them in one feature module. If you are already familiar with how NgRx effects work, check the timestamps in the description to jump straight to the installation part. So the NgRx effects are used to update or to reduce the states based on some external events, some external asynchronous interaction from our application. A typical example is a network request or some time-based event like a timer, anything that is out of synchronization, so to speak, so that it should not prevent our application from continuing to run while we are waiting for the resource. We don't want to block the browser and wait for a network resource. We will have an effect handle the changes of the state for us when the event is finished, when the HTTP call is resolved. And effects do not change the state themselves, they do it via actions and reducers. The effects are basically an observable that can both subscribe to an action, so listen to an action, but can also dispatch an action that the reducers are subscribed to. It doesn't have to dispatch an action, but usually it does. And Adrian Pansky, or Adrian, sorry I'm mispronouncing it, asked about the NgRx data, and I will talk about that in the next video, but before that it's important to have effects set up just so that we are following together. And last time we have shown the NgRx store and store dev tools, so I thought that we can continue with the NgRx library now and install some effects and see how they work, and then we can continue over other parts like entity and NgRx data. So check out the previous video on how to install the NgRx library if you're not familiar with it, or you can just get the link for GitHub repository in the description so that you can code along, which is actually the best way to learn and practice. So if you remember our diagram from last time, we had completed a circle with selectors and action, reducers, and here the effects are what interacts with some external services, with some APIs, databases, basically your backend where the data is permanently stored. So one effect will listen to one action, and it will then ask some service or some HTTP call, for example. However, our application will continue to run this full circle here, regardless if this service is maybe taking a lot of time to complete. And when the HTTP call is resolved, it will then return some result to our effects, which will then dispatch an action notifying our reducers basically that there is some information that we want to put into the store or change into the store, and the reducers will change the store for us. Now the documentation for effects is actually quite decent, and you can just follow it from here and install the effects relatively easily. The only main difference that between this example, proof of point, and your production application is that you are most likely not going to use this string directly here of type. This will basically be your action variable or action object model. So it should be easy to implement an effect by following the documentation itself. However, getting everything to work can take some time and has some challenges on its own, and we're going to demonstrate that in this video. So let's connect to the Books API that they are actually using in their GitHub source for the example application. But the way we are going to connect to the Google API is how you will connect to pretty much any API using very similar method. Everything is pretty much the same. So here in the example app, inside the source and app core, they have the services, and there is a Google Books service which has one search book method that is basically asking the Google API for some books. And if we are going to call this URL ourselves with some parameters, we will basically get this list of books or the volumes with some description and information, etc. This is quite huge model here, and we are not going to use all of those fields. Let's actually see what they are using in their application. So inside the books they have a model named book, and here they are using some of the data. So let's make ourselves a model. Since I made this feature module named product, I will use that module and I will make the model there. So it will not be a book, it will be a product, right? So it is a model product, and I will call it products. Oh, not the products, product. And let's remove the, I don't know, the publisher date and the rating count. Let's leave the bare minimum just to prove the concept. So we will use this simplified model in our application, but in the next video and also the video after that, where we talked about the NgRx data and NgRx data entity, we're going to use this simplified model to show how we can benefit from those additional functionality from the NgRx. So subscribe to the channel to be notified when that video comes out. And let's also take this book service call, the search books, because we will need to connect to the Google API. Let's make one service on our own. So make a folder, services. And I will actually use the Angular schematic to make one service. This will actually be the Google Books service, since we are clearly connecting to the Google Books API. And we are going to use our search books, but we'll change to search. No, it will be the search books. Let's import the HTTP client, remove the double constructor, let's import the observable, and instead of book, we are going to use the product, because I am pretending that this is a product module, and this is some product that we are going to maybe sell on our website or present. So let's rename this to products, and let's actually call this search books or search products from somewhere like list display components on init. Just import the books service, and let's have the dependency injector figure it out for us, so that we are just going to call it like this book service search products. Let's search for the NgRx, let's subscribe to it, let's just console log the result just to see what happens. If I would now to refresh this application of mine, it's not working because it didn't start it. Let me start it from the terminal. If I go to the products for our feature product, we see some error, and that error is because it's the service is not provided. Let's just quickly Google for that one to see what will happen and how to solve it. So the first result says that we should make the HTTP client available inside the root app module. Let's just do that. So let's import our module here. If we refresh our application and go to products, we can actually see that there are products coming back from Google, and we can see that they have some information, etc., etc. However, if we check our store, there is no information about the books here, because we actually never put these books and these results inside of our store so that it's available for all components in our application. Then we are basically, if we continue doing it this way, we are basically locking ourselves to that component that is calling the service. So this is where the effects come to help us. And doing it with the effects, we don't put some component in charge of getting some external information. Of course, we can get external information some other place, but we are basically making an NgRx or the Redux pattern our own. We don't want to break the single responsibility principle for our components, so that each and every component of ours knows exactly what to do, what they're supposed to do. So this way we can reuse the components somewhere else, and we also know exactly where to find the code that is in charge of getting some asynchronous data. In this case, the NgRx effect, as discussed on this diagram here. So let's make one effect that will listen to this find product action, where we are searching for the products here. We have right now it is in the layout. And that when that action is dispatched, our effect is going to ask our service to search the books for us, and the results will be dispatched back to the store by using the success action, a special type of action, success. Here, let's see what they did, how they called it. In the books, we have the actions, and they have separated two different type of actions, which could be a good idea. In this particular case, it might be a bit over-engineered, but it's a good thing, because this load book is actually referring to the application itself. It doesn't involve the API call, and this is basically what we are going to ask for when we start searching. And when the effect comes back with the results, we will dispatch this search success or search failure. And this way we can control the state and dispatch appropriate action that our application will respond to, basically. So let's see this search reducer, which is inside the books and users, and it basically has what we talked about. It has one initial action, which is search books when we start typing, or when we end typing rather. And this reducer will listen to that one, and our effect will listen to this action besides the reducer, so in parallel. So both the effect and the reducer are listening to this action. Let's open the effect here to see it. So this effect will listen for the search books. Once the search books, this code here is basically only for the debouncing the search field, so that we are not spamming the server all the time. But when the search books is being triggered from our application, when we type, the code will come here. The effect will then ask our service to search the books, right? And it will either dispatch the search success if everything is great. It will also give this action the books that it received from the backend, the ones that we saw here from the Google API. And if there is an error, this effect will then dispatch the search failure with some error message from Google saying why the search has failed. So let's actually use this collection effect for our simple example. And I will not use all this debouncing, so I will just keep it simple, but you can add the debouncing on your own. It's a very good that they included here so that you can see the real life example. So let's create one effect in our product. Let's make a folder effects. Now you can use the schematics to generate one effect. I always had mixed results because it would generate something that's neither in the documentation or the sample app, so it will generate something completely new for me. So I will just copy what they have into the example app. So let's make one the product effect TypeScript, and then let's make one effect. I guess we need the actions and constructor as well. And instead of Google Books, no, we actually do need Google Books services, and we need some actions. So we cannot even begin because we don't have any actions for this product module because we never had a store here. Let me just import all these statements. And I will remove this debounce time. And this double piping here, I don't think it should be that difficult. I understand why they did it, because you can have these variables from outside. And I understand that this is and should be a robust solution, but it might be just unnecessarily complicated for beginners. So you can follow the documentation, but then again, you need to sort of master the NgRx to know what is what. So you can map to this action, this basically action. This entire thing is obsolete in my opinion. I will just keep it simple. And I see that I don't even get the option to import the create effect function. And that is because I have not installed the effects at all. So I maybe should follow the documentation. Let's see the installation, how it says npm install NgRx Effects. We just run that from terminal. And then let our application know that we have the effects. So we have the store module. Let's see how to install the effects here. And we can check the sample app for that. So in our application module, we basically have the effects module for root. Let's import the effects module. And here we have some user effects and router effects. We are, however, not going to use any of those because we are going to provide one from our featured module. So let's go back and try now to create an effect. And there is an import statement because our application now has the effects installed. Let's put the auth type and also the switch map. I will remove this check and this debouncing thing just to keep this demo simple. You should actually use it in the real world application. And instead of this find book page action, we are going to need one products actions. We don't have it yet because there is no NgRx installed for this featured module. We just started with it last time. So let's just pretend that we have the product actions and search. I will remove this take until. So instead of this Google Books, we are going to search products, right? Not search books. Let's import the map, catch errors. And let's just rename this books so that we know that we are actually changing it to our feature module. Book products, product, and the, again, products actions. Search success, right? So instead of books, we will have the products. Or if there is error, we are going to create one observable, having the products action search failure. Now the only thing missing here are basically our actions, so let's just make our product actions. So let's check what they did in the example application. So they have the app books, right? We are copying our products from their books module. They have the actions here, and they have quite a lot of actions. I will keep it a bit simple, so I will just combine everything that's product related into one action. So it will basically be this load book action. Make one folder called actions and a file named product actions.typescript. And here we're going to export one load, or was it search that we asked for? And here is going to actually be the search query type string that we are going to store here. Let's import this props and a create action. So this will be the products. Let's see what they used for the API. Book API actions. Yeah, so they're writing books API. Let's copy these two as well, because these are search success and search failure actions that we are going to dispatch based on the response from our server. So we will just use the products here and the products API here. So load the products. Actually, we are going to search for a product. So we are just going to announce to our effects that we are searching. So the searching or the search is needed basically, and then our effect will listen to this action and hear that the search is needed, and it will do the search for us. So here, instead of returning us the books, we are going to return the products, and the error message will be a string, which is fine. Now these actions should work here in our product actions as soon as we name them. Oh yes, we usually let's see what they did. They are not using the books actions TypeScript directly. They are aggregating everything that inside the index TypeScript, and that is actually good practice, because you will just collect everything, all the actions, import them, and then basically export them one more time, so that throughout your application you're only using this index file to get to all the product actions, which is actually good practice. So let's just import everything from our product actions into one index TypeScript. Instead of book actions, we will use the product actions. And then we are going to export the same way they're using their aggregating feature to just export everything. For now, we have only one set of actions, but if you have collections, if you have other actions, it will grow pretty soon. And here inside of our effects, we are going to import this newly exported products actions from here. So let me just import that one. And these actions is actually, let's see where that is coming from. So the book effects. So these actions are what is coming from the NgRx effects. Sometimes it's good to check before you just do a blind import, because sometimes you're required to generate your own interface. Let's see what's wrong here. Yes, I deleted one row too many. This create effect needs a source, and I see one more red line, and that is IntelliJ telling us that we are not assigning to the right parameter. If you read here that this action is expecting books as a type of products, so let me just, so we could write this like books and products like this. However, we want to keep it short, and we actually also want to have a good name, so that here it's products. Search for books. Okay, there is no books reference here. And now this one is green, or it's not red. And we have our three actions in use here. So the effect is listening for the search. It will then dispatch the search success and or the search failure, depending on the results. In our case, we already have in our application this search here. So this layout search for products action. And this is obviously a problem in this demo, as our modules do not follow the recommended Angular practice, where modules are self-encapsulated, especially the feature modules. So I will just move this search into the products module and have it dispatch the products action, rather than the layout action. If you would like to use the layout action, then you would have to move the store and effects to a higher level, because they are obviously needed in each and every feature module and all other modules as well. In this case, we're pretending to work only in a feature module. So let's move that search from the header, from our core layout, or shared layout as I called it. So this header component, this search field from here, let's just comment it. And let's put it in our component here at the top. Let's make this method as well. Actually, let's just borrow it from the header component. Header component here. So we will comment this one out. And instead of layout action, we are going to dispatch the products actions, and we are going to ask for search. And here we had a query rather than search value. And now this store is obviously not existing here because we don't even have a product store. So we cannot dispatch here. However, let's just see that our search field is changing and doing something. And we have it here. If I type here, you can see that we are getting some searches inside the console. Now we could use this action, actually this store that's used in the layout store, to dispatch some other actions. But again, we don't want to tie our modules with global store. We want it to be separated, so we don't want our modules reaching outside of them to get some code. Now, since this feature module products does not have a store actually, let's quickly make one feature store where we're going to keep this search term, but also the products that come back from the HTTP call. And let's put that into the reducers folder here. And let's see what they did in their sample app. So the books, the reducers, they have the book reducer, and they also have the index where the actual store is being declared. So let's just copy that state and put that state into our entire application. So I will just get this books interfaces and I guess this provider. And I will make one index TypeScript inside of our reducers folder. Now they have from search, from books, from collections. We're going to keep it simple and we're just going to use the from products, but this is the way that you would expand your module so that you have a different tables for the NgRx. If you remember the NgRx store analogy, it's like a database. So we will only have the from products here. And this from products will come from our store that we haven't created yet. That's why we're going to make one products reducer. Now, if we go to their books reducer, we can see that their example is using the NgRx entity, which is great, but not for this video. The NgRx entity state adapter, this one, the state, it basically, as it says here, provides a predefined interface for handling a structured dictionary of records. In essence, it allows you to use the entities that you get back, and it provides some functionality that will actually reduce the amount of code needed to write and maintain, which is actually a good thing. And I will cover that in the next video. And also the NgRx data part of NgRx, which is originally written by John Papa, and that is coming soon again. So make sure to subscribe to this channel to be notified when those videos are published. And for now, I will handle these entities inside the store manually. So let's actually make this store work. I started with it, but it's a bit of jumping left to right to copy everything. So it's easy to get lost while you're doing it. So I will actually use this collection reducer because that one is using the manual handling of entities rather than the NgRx entity. So for the product itself, for the list of products, sorry, we need one key and we need one initial state. That is sort of like a sub-state of our module state, if I can call it like that. So here the feature key will be the products. And let's call this one products as well. And the product state will have the search value, because that is what we are going to type in. That is what the effects are going to listen to. The actions that are being dispatched will have this search value inside them. So we might as well store it so that we can show what we are searching for. And it will be a string. And we can actually just keep it like that so that we can show how our form is working. And the initial state will be empty. Now back to our index reducer, we're going to import everything from products. From our products, newly created products reducer file. And here we are also going to have the products. Actually, let's call this one products module feature key, just to show you the difference between the levels that this store is actually making. So it's like a database table inside of database table, if I can call it like that. Let's this one call the products module, and you will see soon why. And here we are going to have the products feature key. and it will contain the from products state. And here, instead of this one, we're going to put the top level. From root state is also something that we're going to need, and let's import that one. Let's see what they are doing in their application. So from the reducer index, they are including the from root in order to inform the root store of the module feature store that we are making here. So we don't have this example app, so we are going to go several levels above. I guess only one level above. No, actually two. Yes, 2 levels above. Let's import this action from the NgRx store and also combine reducers. Now this is this way of combining reducers is needed for, as I said, stated here, for the ahead of time compilation, the happy way. And now we are going to say from products, product feature key. Now you can hard code this product's feature key here yourself. It is actually a good practice to have it as a variable because we will use it on several places and we don't need all these others parts. So let's just put the reducer from product. However, we are not exporting one reducer yet. And that is because we are jumping back and forward, because I'm trying to show you how you can do this on your own when this example app changes, so that you figure out how you're going to find the changes, so that this video is relevant in the 6 months, a year, because the NgRx changes quite a lot, usually to the better, but it changes, so you need to follow along. You need to figure out yourself how to do it. And here we are expected to export one reducer, right? Let's see what they're doing. So here inside collection reducer, in this case, we have the one create reducer that is listening to several states. Let's copy this tree and then we will see what we're going to use. So here we are going to export our reducer, which is actually create reducer. Let's import that one. It will listen to rather than collection page actions, it will listen to our products actions, the search, right? And instead of loading, it will have the search value, right? Is that how we called it? Search query. So here it needs another parameter, and that is the query. And here we will get that query back. Just close this one so that everything is fine. And we actually don't need this last action. Remove everything. And this will be products action search success, right? Now let me see, why is this one complaining? Oh yes, I forgot the comma here. And now this one is, I guess instead of books, expecting the products. And here it will get the products will be products. We can shorten that one so that it's just product. And now everything seems okay-ish here. We have some state, some sort of state. Let's go back to our list component and see if we can actually use this store. And here we are going to inject this store. And let's see how they did it. So they are on the search here in the books, inside the containers. They have the store imported like this. So the store is the store from books. Instead of from books, we are going to use the from products. And this from products will be the reducers from the products module. So instead of books, we are going to use our own products reducers. And it is red because I put it inside the init instead of the constructor. So now let's see if this store is connected and if this action is being dispatched. So if we open our application, if we search for something, we can see that our action, which is saying that products API search is needed, is actually being dispatched here. However, its state is still empty, and that is because our reducer is not actually listening to this products API. So let's make that one quickly. Or rather, it is listening, but it's not being integrated into the main store. So in our products module, we are not basically telling to our main app module that we even have a store in this product. So let's see what they did in their books module and how are they connecting the store to the main root store. So there is a store for feature. In the root we have the for root, here we have the for feature. And let's see, we also have the effects module. We might as well copy that one because we have just introduced the effects here. And inside our products module, we are going to import this one and import the store module. And for feature, rather than from books, we are going to use the from products. But let's see, where are they importing that one? So the from books is from the index file. And here we are going to import from products. And since we are in products, we are just going to go to our reducers. And then we are going to use the products module feature key in this case, because that's the main level. And that is basically a key for this feature. And we are going to put the actual reducers in our store module here. Let's fix the effects module by importing this one. And instead of book effects, let's call it product effects. However, our product effects are still being called book effects, so it's let's rename that to product effects. And here I will just import that one. And we don't have any other effects for now, but you would add them here. Let's refresh our application now to see what's going on. And if we check the state, if we go to our products, and if we check our state, we can see now that we have our products module and that we have our products sub-functionality with the search value itself. This might be redundant, you might keep this without this level. However, if you add product collections and if you add product groups or something, you will have them one by one under the products module still, because these products are basically closely related to the products itself. And if I type here, we can see that search value is actually being added here. And we can see that the products are actually being added beside it. And that is because we've made our effect publish a search success action that our reducer is being subscribed to. And we told it to put the products here, even though we didn't actually make this here. So let's initialize it here by making the products in our state. And let's initialize it here to an empty array. Now if we refresh, we should see our products state complete here. And by pure luck or accident, we even got our products here when we look for the NgRx. They are being put back via a search success action. As you can see here, we have the search is needed and the search success actions. The search is needed is basically dispatching a HTTP call to Google Books service, and the search success is getting us back these actions. And we can see even the difference of state where this search is needed action is searching for NgRx, and this search success is returning us the products thanks to the effects. Now let's just list these products so that they are not only in the console here, but let's quickly show them here where the list works is. And for that, here in our container, we are going to, instead of calling this search products manually, we are going to subscribe to a part or to get a part of the store like displayed in our diagram here. So we are going to use a selector to select the part of the store that we are interested in this case the products itself. And we might even fix this use search for because this is from the global store. If you recall our state, this is from this layout search value. We don't need that one, or we are not using that one here. We now want to subscribe to this product and search value. So let's quickly make some selectors. Let's see how they did it inside their books reducers. And usually the selectors are in the index, and here they are selecting the main state and then books. We can use this one because it's similar for our products. So instead of this book state, we're going to use the product state, and that should be this book state because I forgot to change it. So it should be product state. And this one as well. And instead of books feature key, we are going to need the product module feature key because we are talking the highest level of the state here. And this is a feature selector, so it will get the entire product feature module state. And here we are going to create a selector from that feature selector. Instead of select book state, it should be called select product. And then we are going to return the sub level for this one. and that is the products sublevel, and then the products themselves. If you remember, this one is actually this level here. So we are selecting from our products module, our products part of the module, and then we are getting the products itself. As mentioned, you can simplify this one, but in case you want to expand, you can use several levels. And they should actually be from products so that we know exactly what we are talking about. Instead of book entities, this will be products, because we are listing the products, right? Now let's list those products. Actually, this is not the product state, this will be the select products. And we are going to subscribe to this one in our smart component here in the containers. So beside this search value, we're going to use this products as observable. So this will be the products store. Actually, let me just copy that entire line. Instead of this from layout state, we are going to use the from products. And this will be from products. So instead of from layout, we are going to use the from products. And we are going to select products. So here we will have the products. Let's make this observable. And now we are also going to select the search value, because we've moved it now from the global. We want to move it to the products, but we don't have that selector. Let's make one selector quickly, and it will be pretty much the same, except for the products we are going to get the search value. If you remember, this is our third level here inside our state. So we have the products and then the list of products and the search value itself. So we are now on that level. And if you're not sure which level you are, you can easily subscribe here to this observable to see what actually is inside. For example, if I would subscribe to this search value here, and I would just console log the value itself, I would get value of this observable. Let me just fix this one. This one should be select product search. Let's now see what is inside our console here, because we have subscribed to it. If I type NgRx, you can see that our console here is actually outputting the value that we have subscribed to. So this one. I don't need it for now, but we can see that actually our subscription is working because we are displaying that value here successfully. Now let's get back to the listing. We don't need this book service anymore. And let's pass these products to our app list, the same way we are passing the search values. And let's accept it here, products of type product. And let's just list it inside our HTML. So instead of this list works, let's just put a bunch of divs and let's loop for it. Let's just have an h3 which will just show us the product, the volume info, because that data is there, like a title, and also a p with a subtitle. And let's just have an image because we have it. So we'll have one image with the source. Let's put it dynamic. Product volume info. That image links, small thumbnail. Let's see what happens. If I type for NgRx, we are actually getting the results from our effects, from our Google API. I see that some of the books do not have the small thumbnail, or rather the image links. So let's just put the question mark there as an optional. You should do the if else around it, obviously, but I'm trying to shorten this video as much as possible. And now we have completed the other circle as well, the one that we talked about, that we had from before, but we also have the effects sending the data to the server, in our case the search query, and also returning us the data back via some action that is being pushed inside our store with our reducer. And as mentioned, it is actually very easy once you know everything about the NgRx and you're familiar with all the caveats about it. And don't be frustrated if this sometimes takes you a few hours because you mistype something somewhere and suddenly it's very difficult to figure it out. And I kindly ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to help it grow so that I can make more of these videos and hopefully help even more people. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.